on this computer. Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome to our Dream Team Zoom. Tonight, I am just really going to share with you, if you were on here, I think it was a few weeks ago, we talked about ego, a lot about ego. And so just how, it's funny how God works. We had that conversation, then I listened to a Zoom, and then that Zoom made me think about some things. And then that led to one of the people on our team calling me, and we talked through a bunch of stuff. And I just really got out of my own way and made some changes. And I want to share that with you. And I want to celebrate all of you because you're all part of these changes that I'm talking about. And just maybe share it as an example, because maybe you could use this in your life also. So if you remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about ego. There are times in your life where I think your ego can protect you. But there's a lot of times in your life where your ego gets in the way. And as much as I love to think of myself as a great leader and all these things, I really wanted to question that. Because like I said, I was listening to this Zoom and the girl was basically like, are you doing everything you can? Maybe you're not where you want to be, but are you still living as if you're where you want to be? Are you doing all the things? And so I actually reached out to a few people on the team and said, hey, honest answer, tell me, I feel like I do all the things, but then I'm like, is that my ego talking? And they were all so sweet. People wrote back, yes, you're great. You do all the things. And of course my ego was like, yay, thank you for saying that. But then one person in particular, Miss Dillbeck, actually picked up the phone and called me and was like, well, let's chat about this. What are you talking about? And so it was so good. I just started to vomit in the mouth, just telling her, this is what I listened to and this is what it made me think. And maybe I'm blah, blah, blah. And so somehow during that conversation, we whittled it down to, I want to create leaders on this team. I don't want to be the only leader. I don't want it to be Tammy's show. If it's going to be Tammy's show, it's never going to go as far as it could, because I only have so much time in the day and I only have so many ideas. And so from that, hopefully you have noticed that I'm starting to implement some things, like I'm not doing all the power plannings. I'm not doing all the Zooms. One of the best things that has come out of this is asking you guys to step in and take over the customer group. Okay, the first week of me not being in charge of that customer group, world rocked. And now we're in week 2 and it's already off to a good start too. You guys have so many better ideas than I do. And I love that. I want that. My great idea was to ask a question and whip up a graphic every day. And then I would literally just do that and shoot it out and hope for the best. Friggin' Olivia was like, hey, did you know we're at 1,000 members? Let's do a giveaway. Oh my gosh, let's do it. Okay, yeah, I'm excited. And then now here we're on our second week and Jamie and Sonia are already doing this water challenge and Sonia's done lives and you guys are amazing. And so I want to say thank you for being amazing. And I also just want to say that get out of your own way. I was in the way. I was totally in the way of this team doing bigger and better things, because I didn't want to burden anybody. I never wanted to be like, hey, could you do the Dream Team Zoom this week? I wouldn't, I know you're busy. I know you have kids, blah, 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 blah. Whereas really it's fun to get to do the Zoom. I have heard so many good things come out of other people doing the Zoom than I have. So I'm so happy that I got out of my own damn way about this. But what I want to talk to you guys about then, and I really want this to be more of a back and forth. First of all, are you loving the customer group? Does it not seem like it's totally revitalized? There's stuff going on in the group now. And shout out to Yola and Olivia. They were the first 2 that took on the challenge, and bless Yola's heart. She's like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I don't know how to make graphics, but I'll do whatever you need me to do. So within that 1 week alone, Yola was making posts and doing things that she normally wouldn't have done. And that to me means the world, because that means she's growing as a promoter and just as a human. She's getting out of her zone. And Olivia is just I don't know, she's just so smart and so on it, and was this is what we've got going on and this is what we should do. And so I don't know, I just love it and I'm super excited. But I want to share with you something really quickly. I took a screenshot earlier because I think what I need to focus on more, and I don't know if maybe you guys do too. Like I said, I'm sharing this because maybe you need this also. But as much as I don't know, like I feel like I post motivating stuff. I totally am all about women helping women, building other people up. But then in reality, on the flip side of that, I wasn't sharing the responsibilities with people and giving them like time to shine. Like literally when I walked away and like stepped away, and like Courtney did the power plan last night. If you guys missed it, it was amazing. It's recorded, it's on her YouTube. It's amazing. And like I said, the customer group has been amazing. So as much as I wanted to say I empowered people, I really wasn't, because I wasn't giving the responsibility, I guess would be the word. I wasn't sharing that with people. I was doing too much myself, thinking that I was keeping the burden off of people. But in reality, I was holding people back. So again, that was my ego. Like, this is why it's so important to start learning about your ego and try to get really in touch with it. It's ugly. It's like super ugly sometimes. And then I'll like realize it and I'll be like, damn, that's awful, Tammy. I can't believe you did that, or you said that, or why were you that way? But until you try to learn, you're not going to know. But so anyway, I was just kind of Googling some definitions of like empowerment, because we talk all the time about empowering other people. And so I'm just going to read this to you. Personal empowerment is about taking control of your own life and making positive decisions based on what you want. So that right there is a little tricky, because it's about taking control of your own life. But in this case, to take control of the path that I was on as a leader, I had to give up control. So it doesn't always mean being in control. Like, you know, does that make sense? Like sometimes you have to take control of your life by getting rid of some things, releasing some things. It's closely linked to attributes like self-esteem and self-confidence. But true empowerment comes from when you convert intention into action. I'm going to repeat that, because that to me is the biggest aha, or whatever you would call it. True empowerment comes when you convert intention into action. So all along, I intended to have this amazing group. I intended to have all these leaders come out of this group. You know, like to me, my thought was, if I do a Zoom every week, then other people would be like, I should do a Zoom every week. And like leaders would just start popping out. But in reality, the action of you doing a Zoom, or the action of you helping out on a customer group, or the action of you hosting a local with me cheering you on and answering questions and supporting you every way, that is so much more empowering than me just constantly leading by example. Does that make sense? Like, can you think of a spot in your life where you're leading by example and you're like, I don't understand. I show them every week how to do this. Why aren't they doing it? Like maybe this can even be with your customers. Like, do you have customers that you have shown a million times how to place an order, but they still don't place orders? Maybe you need to back out of the way and let them actually place an order. Do you have promoters who you are constantly showing how to do a three-way chat, but yet they're not setting them up? Like you're creating them for them. Maybe you should back out and say, I'm glad to talk in that chat as soon as you get that situated. Because again, it's almost like it's not almost like it's enabling. It's enabling someone. Basically, the more we do stuff for someone, the less they have to do, which then means if, you know, we drop off the face of the earth tomorrow, they have no idea what's going on. They don't know how to do it. So to me, converting intention into action, that part just really got to me. So personal empowerment means giving yourself permission to succeed, but it doesn't mean going it alone. Chances are you'll need the input, support, and guidance of others to achieve your objectives. So again, it's teamwork. We have to work together. We have to do things we're not comfortable with so we can learn, so we can be empowered to do it the next time. In many cases, you'll need permission too, in the form of trust, resources, time, autonomy. Hello, is that not exactly what I was holding back from all of you unintentionally? I didn't mean to do this. And now that I see that I have done it for 5+ years, sometimes you just need permission. Like if you have a topic that you want to talk about, or you think it's amazing, all you have to do is say, I have a topic, like put me on the screen Monday, or heck, be like, I have a topic. I'm going to go live in the group page. Cool. Go for it. Like, I want that. You have my permission. And you have my trust. I trust all of you to share. If for some reason something gets out of hand or is not compliant, I have a delete button. I can handle that. Resources, you've got us, you've got me, the time and the autonomy to do it. Like that's what I want to give. I want to give that to the team because I want the team to then give that to their teams and so on and so forth, because that is how a team will grow. And so I want you to think about how you're empowering your team. So, and again, your team is everybody from promoters to customers. Like, who is that? How are you empowering people to grow as thrivers, whether it's a customer thriving or a promoter? Bear in mind that empowerment is not the same as entitlement. I thought this was also pretty important too. People who feel entitled tend to believe that the beliefs and privileges should come to them automatically, while empowered people achieve success through hard work, reflection, and cooperation. So again, if you have a thought and you're like, you know, I want to share this with the team, or I think this is such a great idea, or we should try this, you still have to like, in this case, this is my team page, right? This is, I'm responsible for what happens on this team page. So once you're 12K and above and you want to have your own team page, you can have it. You have to have a moderator who's at least 80K or above on your page with you. And that's just so that everything stays compliant, just because a lot of people can hit 12K early and maybe they don't know. But you don't have to have permission to do that, but you're also not entitled to do that. Like, you're not entitled to be like, oh, I'm a promoter, I'm gonna have my own team page. Lavelle wants you to have some experience, some knowledge, some background. So there's a difference between being empowered to reach that level and do that versus feeling entitled that you should just have everything, you know, have everything you want to have a team page. But so let's know, oh, gradual release. Yes, I wrote that down too the day we were talking about that. What that was, that wasn't the whole name of it though, right? Gradual release of something. Yeah, I cannot hear you.
I can't type fast, and I had it didn't even spell it. Responsibility.
Gradual release of responsibility. Yes. So think about that. Like, with people on your team, how can you gradually release some of the responsibility you're carrying to them so that they can start to learn, so that then they can start to, so like, for example, what is something you don't have to, you can type it if you want, or you can unmute, or you can just think it in your head. What is something you're doing for your team, whether it's customers or promoters, all the time, and you're like, surely they're picking this up. Surely they know how to do this now. Now, keep in mind, constantly growing your team. So you're going to have new people that aren't always going to know, but what is something that you could be doing? What are things we need to be teaching the people on our team to do? Like, so, and really, this is kind of prior to me having this realization, the only time I've ever been like, oh gosh, would you please cover the Zoom, is if I was on vacation and I felt like I couldn't do it. So picture yourself, if for the next 2 weeks you were on vacation, you had no Wi-Fi, what would you be like, oh my gosh, I need so-and-so to somebody's got to do this while I'm gone. I'm still the one reaching out to my promoters, auto ship customers. Okay. That's a lot of work for you, Miss Olivia. Look, she's covering her face. Okay. I'm curious, do you do that because they don't know how? They don't know how to find their auto ships in the back office?
No, they do. I think it's mostly just because they're still new, and like Jamie works third shift, so she looks and she's doing like better with it. But then also, like, I go into my promoters that don't really promote but have people under them, so I mean, I have to go look at theirs too. I guess it's just out of habit. I just try to look at everybody's. I see on my auto ship report that I have so many orders going out, but they're obviously not all under me, so then I just go and search and find, who all would have one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and there's a fine line there. Some of that is customer service. Like, if you have non-promoting promoters, they are just fancy customers. So any of their customers are your customers. And I'm huge about customer service, but I would encourage you more and more and more to start reminding your promoters to check their auto ships versus checking them for them. Because like you just said, Jamie works third shift, and I know that's hard, but hello, you have how many kids? So people can find the time to do what is important to them. So that's an excellent example. If you were gone for 2 weeks and you couldn't check the Wi-Fi, what are things that you would be like, oh, somebody needs to be doing this. What am I doing that somebody needs to do? Is anybody else thinking of anything that maybe they do that? that they should be teaching their team or kind of passing on to the team? You know, because one of the things too that we talk about a lot is edifying people. And so what that means is, like, for example, let's say that I'm going to put Lisa in a group chat with somebody. I'm going to edify Lisa to this person by saying, this is my friend Lisa, you know, she's XYZ. I'm going to like really build her up. Like, I'm introducing you to Lisa, and this is why she's so awesome. And so there's edification in doing shout outs on the page, right? Sharing the excitement that people have gotten a customer. And so I think it's important to do that, but I also think it's important, like, to me, when Lisa Cook did the Dream Team Zoom a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, it was so good. That to me is the ultimate edification. Like, I don't even have to introduce her to people on the team now because they have seen her Zoom, or they should have seen her Zoom. Sandra says, I need someone to do the Wednesday night power planning. Okay. Posting in my team page. My team page needs help. People don't respond much at all. Okay. So those are things I think we should start looking at. Like, are there people on your team that you could start saying, hey, could you guest speak? Like, maybe, you know, if they're not ready to talk yet, maybe they could be your guest host of the power planning, and they could cover one part of it. You know, even if just one person who's never spoke on a Zoom were to share how to do rate of run, and then you took over, that could be something that I don't know, I just feel like getting the foot in the door, like shaking off the nerves, ripping the Band-Aid, whatever you want to call it, and posting in the team page. And so posting in the team page is something that's what I was struggling with the customer page. I mean, you guys, like, by the time I was like, hey, did I do my posts? Did I do my posts for my other businesses? And then I'm like, oh, the customer page, I got to do it for the customer group. And I don't want it to be an afterthought. I want it to be something fun. And clearly, since I've gotten out of the way, it's a whole lot more. I mean, hell, I'm having fun on the customer page, and I haven't had fun on the customer page since we made it. So yeah, so think about your week. What do you do regularly? And how could you empower other people to learn to do it, to start taking over for that? Because I just think, you know, like, a lot of times people are like, oh, you do so good on the calls. Okay, I was on my first ever call one time too, and I was petrified. I didn't know if I dialed in the number right. I wasn't sure if people could hear me, that I was afraid that everyone could hear me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm talking on this call. So trust me, you got to start somewhere, and your team has to start somewhere. So what are the different places that you could start helping people get out there, like start sharing more? Susan and Lindsay do a great job of every Monday trying to have a feature speaker. A, because they don't want to do all the talking all the time, and B, because it gives people the empowerment of sharing what it is that they do. So start thinking about that. Like, what are some different things that would help? Because I will tell you too, in addition to making I just feel so good about like the changes, because like I said, I've enjoyed the Zooms, I've enjoyed the customer page. It's also lightened my load. Like, in the process of empowering other people, I've also lightened my load, which, who of us could not use 10 extra minutes in the day to feel a little bit less pressure? So anyway, so I want to encourage you guys to think about that. I know that, like, empowering others that's a big thing for us. Like, there are a lot of people who come into network marketing, and that alone is an empowering thing. Like, they finally have their own business. They're finally making their own money. They're building something that they are proud of. And so the more you can help somebody start to feel that pride, the better off you and your team are going to be in the end. So please do keep your eye out. I will be asking for a lot more stuff from, like, see, I struggle with that. Like, I just struggle. As soon as I said it, I'm going to ask for more stuff. It's okay, Tammy, to ask your team to do things. This is a therapy session for me. But I'm going to start looking at my calendar and be like, okay, I don't need to be the one that does all the things because I just don't need to be. Like, there's a lot of smart women on this team, and fellows, a couple fellows, a lot of smart women that could be sharing what they're doing and how they're doing it. And so part of this is, like, I just want you to think about your ego. If you have ever said to yourself, no one's buying my Thrive, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, maybe this isn't for me, that's your ego talking. And it's hard to come to terms with that. Especially if you've ever said, I'm doing all the things, I'm sending out all the messages, I'm doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do. That's your ego talking, because that is where it all started with me. This woman said in the Zoom, are you doing all the things? And immediately I was like, yes. But then I was like, wait, self, are you? And I honestly needed an outside source to talk to me about it, because your ego is loud, like loud. It wants to constantly, like, no, girl, you're doing it all. You're doing so much stuff. You're doing it all. and then when people write you back and say, oh, you've done so much for us, which is super nice. But your ego's like, yes, say it again. But that's not going to push you forward. So if you feel yourself saying those things, and maybe you were like me, maybe you need somebody to be like, okay, let's get on the phone and talk about it. I'll get on the phone. We can talk about it. We can talk about it all day. Like, ask somebody that you respect and know, who knows you and does know what you are actually doing for your business. Like, don't just call a stranger, because then they're not going to know. They're going to have a conversation with you. But like, get it out. Like, here's what I'm doing. What can I do better? Because that was part of my thing. It's not that I didn't think I did enough stuff. Like, I felt like I did a ton of stuff, but how could I do it better? Well, it turns out I needed to stop doing it and get the hell out of the way. So you just never know where the answer is going to come from. But I just encourage you to spend some time with your ego. I encourage you to think about how you can empower other people. But most importantly, how can you empower yourself? So if you're holding yourself back because you feel like you need permission to do something, then really say, okay, whose permission do I need? Ask for it. Ask the person, this is what I'm wanting to do. Is this okay to do? Like, people will send me messages sometimes and say, hey, I have a great idea. Are you okay if I post it? Abso-freaking-lutely. You don't even have to ask me, but sometimes people need to ask. So what is it that you need to do to step out of your comfort zone, to empower yourself to grow? And then what are some things that you're constantly doing that are holding you back that other people could be learning to do while you go try something else new, if that makes sense? So that's all I really had tonight. I just wanted to share with you that sometimes as leaders, we screw up. And I had started to screw up a little bit, like apparently for a while. But again, it's just as I grow and I learn about myself and I learn about this business, well, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I screwed up, but like, I just knew, I just knew that I needed to do something different. I needed to talk to somebody. Like, I needed to talk to myself. I needed to figure out, because my goal is to make this team just flourish. Like, I want you guys to flourish. When I see one of you hit a rank or pay off a bill, or you have a car now that's paid for, or you get something like Sonia got the table that she has had on her dream board. Like, she has the actual legitimate table. She had a picture of it on her vision board, and now it is in her house. Like, that's the shit I love. And so I had to figure out a way to get out of the way so more of that stuff could happen. And so just ask yourself, if your business isn't where you want it to be, what is it about you that you can change? And again, that's going to be your ego. You're going to have to talk to her, and sometimes you're going to have to shut her up. But in having these conversations, we're aha moments are a thing. Oprah did not just, that was a direct message, Jiminy Christmas. One of these days, I will figure out that the red thing that says direct message.
I do want to say this, because I want people to know that as we were bouncing ideas off, she had all these aha moments on her own. On her own. It was not me being the teacher like a and going, hey, well, what about that? She had aha moments.
I did, but I think it's important that I talked. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just have to talk it out. Like, I would literally bounce some weird ideas and just I'd throw them out and be like, no. But then I throw out something good. And they're like, let's write that down. So I just feel like if you don't feel like you're where you want to be, or like you're just either if you feel stuck, or you're like, you know what, I'm on the cusp of something, but I don't know what it is. I encourage you, call me, call someone, call your upline, call whoever that you feel close to, and like just literally have a brain dump, because it will help you get past yourself. And that's the thing, you have to get past yourself. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you all know that leaders aren't perfect. I hope that no one feels like they are expected to be perfect. And lo and behold, being a better leader meant actually having less responsibility. Who would have ever thunk that? So there. If you haven't yet signed up to take on one of the weeks, it's for the customer group. I'm asking 2 people to get together. And you guys, and again, originally I was like, oh, it'll probably be like an upline and their downline. No, that's not at all how it worked out. And it's been amazing. It's been 2 people from completely different legs, completely different experiences, like 5 years and 6 months. And it's been amazing. So I'm totally ignoring it all. There's just, you just sign up, you just pick a day and like you pick a week and you roll with it. For some reason, the poll is not working in Facebook right now. So just comment below what days you want. And I'm trying to keep track of it. I'm doing a Zoom with T. Oh yeah. Oh, me. I'm like, T. Yeah. So Sandra actually reached out and said, hey, would you do a one-on-one Zoom with me so that we can do some, basically the exact same thing that she did for me on the phone that day. And I'm not sure all face wise who's on here, but I know I've been doing some upline one-on-one Zooms with maybe one particular promoter who feels stuck, or maybe they're new. And it's not at all a scary thing. I promise. It's just me asking questions, just trying to get people to think. Like as I learn about people and ask them questions, like they get their own little aha moments about their business. So if you want like focused time, I mean, it doesn't have to be like all day, just, 15, 30 minutes. That might be the thing you need. Like think of it as a business counseling session. But it could be the thing that would help get you off that. It's not like having to go to confession. Exactly. It's not scary. It's not scary. Although I do come here and confess to you all when I screw stuff up. So anyway, I hope that you can appreciate that leaders are constantly growing. I constantly want you guys to grow. I want to share with you when I have a mistake or like a happy mistake or whatever you want to call it. But just think about these things, like how can you empower yourself and how can you empower others, like truly empower people. And I think that you'll be surprised at how awesome it is. So anywho, I will have this recording up on the YouTube. If you guys, I wish I could find the right button to grow my team, but I know it's me not doing all the things. Oh, well, we should probably have a Zoom, Sonia. Okay. We'll schedule one. Okay. Anybody else? Like, let me know. Oh, that's exciting. So you typed it out. So that's exciting. Okay. All right. I'll put this recording up on the YouTube and you can share it with anyone on your team that thinks they might need it, or maybe you want to go back and listen to it. Although I rambled quite a bit. I don't know if you'd want to, but anyway, thanks for being here tonight. And I look forward to seeing how things change for us. So bye.